Hi, I'm Rick Conlow. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for coming. We're going to talk about the 12 difficulties that define a manager's destiny. I don't know about you, but I've been leadership and management most of my life. I did have a sales position for a while as well. And sometimes the problems of leadership is like a tsunami hitting us. Can you relate to that? Now, here's the thing. Successful leadership is about positive influence. So how can you be positive when you got all these problems? You know what I'm talking about? And I'll dig into some of those that come up and our thoughts that we need to have about them. Now, it's a challenge as a leader. Over 50% of managers fail. A lot of employees don't believe in the CEOs. They don't think they're bringing value. And 87% of employees today are disengaged, according to research. In other words, in many workplaces, it's toxic. It's not positive. And then we got problems coming up. And how are we going to succeed as a leader? Well, I'm here to tell you there's good news, and I'll share with you a way to break through. Now, I don't know if you can relate to this. Are you a little frustrated? Are you a little dejected or demoralized about your career and the path you're taking? Maybe that fits you. Now, maybe yours is going well, and you're just looking to ramp it up. But we found a lot of managers are in that state of anxiety. They're not feeling good about it. And here's the thing. If you're in that, excellent. This is the day to change. This is the day to get better. And if you're not into it, excellent as well, because you can make even more progress. So here are the difficulties. I'll make a few comments about each of these as we go along. First one, getting everything done. I don't know about you, but what I've seen and the clients we work with as we consult with them in the areas of leadership, sales, and the customer experience is they got too much to do, too many priorities. Had a meeting with a company just a few weeks ago, and they have 400 new initiatives going on in this $20 billion company. Can you imagine what every manager is thinking? They're going, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? Their jobs are at stake. Their bonuses at stake. You know what I'm saying? How are you going to get it all done? And so what it says is today, more than ever, we got to be organized and planned. And then reaching team goals. I had another meeting, and the managers I was working with says, hey, if we exceed our goals, our boss is only going to raise them. Now, the truth is, there are some ceilings about best performance. And we need to learn in management is to set our people up to win, not fail. And when they win, we don't raise the bar so far out of line that it destroys their motivation to try again the next year. Sometimes we're our own worst enemy. But we can reach our goals. People can do incredible things. We have to ask ourselves, are we giving them the training? Are we giving them the coaching that they need? Are we removing the roadblocks? Those kinds of things. And then giving negative feedback. How do you do that well? See, a lot of these difficulties can be overcome if we're students of the game. So there's a better way to give negative feedback. Quite frankly, feedback is the breakfast of champions. You don't get better unless you learn what you're doing well, so you keep doing it. And you don't get better if you don't hear the things you're not doing so well. So it means we have to communicate with our team. So there's an art to that. And there's also a skill to that. That's also lends itself being a student of the game. And it ties in with the next one, dealing with poor performance. Now, you know what? Employees will have performance problems. That's the nature of the game. It's going to happen. Does it mean they're a bad person because they do something wrong or they make a mistake? No, we can learn from that. It's all in how we handle it. Do we beat them up or do we build them up? You see what I'm saying here? So that relates to those 2 points. And then how do you handle team conflict? You got one person doesn't like the other person, or you got a significant difference of view about which direction you should go, say, on a goal. And how do you facilitate that? Okay? So, the classic skills of listening, understanding, empathizing, paraphrasing, sharing, asking further questions about that. We can learn how to deal with that conflict. But if you don't deal with that issue, you're going to have trouble succeeding as a leader. The next one, firing an employee. How do you deal with that? Well, the biggest thing is have an ongoing coaching process. That'll help us do a better job so that when we get to the point, if someone needs to be fired, we just have a short meeting and say, you know what, we had these goals, you didn't reach there, we're going to have to let you go. It's not personal anymore. They already know that. Or there used to be a process, in fact, some organizations still use it. It's called 30, 60, 90 days. You put people on a performance plan, give them goals to accomplish, 30, 60, 90 days. And behind the message is, if they do that, wow, great, fantastic, they're still here. If you don't, we're going to have to let you go and part company. Often what happens, the employees quit because they see they can't do it. Now, you don't want them to quit, you want them to do better, but it's a way to do that. So the point I'm making is there's an art and science to firing somebody. You have to learn that. You got to study it. And then communicating with your boss, upper management. Real quick thing with this, communicate upward. Don't wait for your boss to come to you. Give them status reports, have a meeting with the boss regularly, no surprises, and guess what? More often than not, your boss will leave you alone if you do that. Don't wait for your boss to come to you with a plan, you put the plan together. So the point is, if you don't do that kind of communication, which a lot of employees do, if I don't hear from my boss, that's good news. When I hear from him, it's bad news. No. You initiate the communication. It helps us do better as a leader. And losing key employees. Now, a lot of times we lose key employees because we don't treat them right. We don't challenge them. We don't get them involved. We don't go to bat for them for pay increases or added perks based on their performance. And so we have to look at our leadership approach as we do this. I had one manager, he had a constantly revolving door, and he always blamed the employees. They're at fault, they're at fault, they're at fault. Finally, one day I got him to realize the employees weren't at fault. A lot of great employees left there. He was at fault, how he led people. And then they're solving coworker issues. When they've got, personal issues. Well, you need to understand, as a leader, we need to focus on the job performance, not the personal problem. We can listen, we can understand, and then recommend either company resources that are available or outside resources that they need to go to. But then we come back to the performance of the job. If you don't know how to do that well, guess what? People think you don't care. They'll cause more problems. They'll talk bad. You need to learn how to do that. Each of these issues, there's a learning side. There's a best practice. And if you're going to be a manager, learn it, is what I'm talking about. Creating buy-in in a team plan. I hear that often. If you can't get buy-in, then people think it's just your plan. And when it fails, you failed, not them. So how do you get buy-in? You hold team meetings and you ask for input and you facilitate that input and really listen to it. That's one way of doing it. One manager I worked with, his name was Dave. Dave would do this every year, 3-4 times with his team, usually around planning time on a quarterly basis. He'd sit down with this team and says, give me your input. Here are our key issues. How are we doing on this one? What can we do better on this one? All he did was take notes. He didn't comment on it. He just listened. Then he summarized it, came back to his team. And guess what? When it came to executing the plans, because they had a hand in what's going on, buy-in, they had more commitment and were willing to go the extra mile to get it done. You hear what I'm saying on these things here now? Who owns these problems? Is it the employees that are causing them? Other departments that are causing them? Your boss that are causing them? No. The difficulties that define a manager's destiny, the degree that they're successful working through them, is with the manager. With the manager. Then another one that's hot today, because there's so much change in organizations today, is managing that change. And the difference with that, in one company we were working with, one manager got together with his team and said, hey everybody, the management did it again. They're making another change. I don't know why they're doing it. It's not good for us. We're going to have to slow down the workplace and take time off. I'm probably going to have to lay off 3 of you. That's how we handle it. The other manager said this to the team. He said, team, business has slowed down. The management is making some changes. They tried to look at what's best for the organization so we can continue to thrive and grow. We need to come up with a plan to be able to get our work done, but to do it in such a way we're working less hours. Now, I'm going to do a problem-solving session with you, and I think with you and me, we can come up with a plan that will be good for all. And guess what? Which team did a better job? Which one had the conflict? The first one. Which one found a way, an innovative way, to be able to not lay anybody off? They just cut everybody's hours in that team and found a way to make sure that they cover that. So managing change, there's an art to that and a science to that. And then personal stress. I don't know about you. But if we let it, the personal stress will be up to here. You know what I'm talking about. Can you relate to that? I've seen it. You see it in their faces when you walk in and we do consulting assignments. And that stress is overwhelming. You know the number one reason why is they're trying to do it all. They think they have to do it all. They think It's all up to them. Well, bottom line, they're accountable for their team, but they haven't gotten their team involved. They have let some of these other issues go, so now they're paying the price for their lack of being studious, a lack of employee engagement. So those are the things. The bottom line is this. If you want your team to be better, you have to be better, a better leader at what you do. Now, you know what? In any of these areas, you can improve quickly. But I want you to know, excellence takes a bit longer. So you got to stick with it for a while. Okay? Doesn't mean there won't be some bumps and bruises along the way working on any of those issues. But you can be better. And here's the thing. To perform better tomorrow, you have to prepare better. So when I talk about being a student of game, it's something that you have to do on an ongoing basis every day. Man, you say, I don't have time to do that. Then you don't have time to get better. And those 12 difficulties you'll continue to have trouble with. It's a choice, really. All this information comes from our book, Superstar Leadership, and our Superstar Leadership model. We believe that leadership is a high-contact sport. Oh, it's fun. There's a lot of joy in seeing a team come together and going that extra mile. In fact, your job becomes better as a leader because the daily things, the goals that you have, man, they're rocking and rolling on those. And then what you can do is you can focus on the bigger things, the next level, the next challenge, which will be good for them because they get an opportunity to improve, good for you because you may advance. All that is opportunity for you in what you do. Here's the thing. The next revolution in leadership thought is about the power of people. And all those difficulties that I talked to you about is how you tap into that power, that potential that your people have. It's an afterthought today. Companies are focusing on data and facts and figures and business intelligence as opposed to people and how they can leverage their effectiveness. And then, of course, let me say this. Respect your team and win their hearts and minds. When you do that, it's amazing what you can accomplish with your team. And then bottom line to all that is doing business right. Do it with trust, integrity, respect your people that respect you, and you'll accomplish many wonderful things. Well, I hope this was helpful to you. I've enjoyed sharing it with you. I have this dream that soars on golden wings. I visualize your achievements and your legacy that sings. I do not know about all your awesome goals or your persistent efforts to raise the bar. I only know that you can be the best, a superstar. Thanks for coming.